Hello world, Frida Reba Darcy and Patricia O'Connor here, and today I've had a little change of plan. Well, one, I had a change of plan, and then secondly, I had a change of plan happen for me. I was going to rig this shot static, as it were, rig it up in the old tripod and add a little wire and clip back. But originally, when I had talked about getting this far along, I had said that I would rather the secondary and the tertiary be more clip and grow. But over the weeks that I've been watching this thing grow out, and while I got ill, I was just kind of sitting there on the couch watching everything get all long and leggy, and I thought, yeah, you're probably gonna have to wire some of that stuff down. But so I was all ready to do that. Had the camera all in the tripod and everything, getting ready to come around here. And I remembered how I said I was going to do this part clip and grow, and I started kind of looking at it again with new eyes, the kind of eyes that didn't feel like doing a lot of wiring. And I came to the conclusion that there wasn't a lot here that I have to break that little rule over. That I can just go ahead and snatch the camera off that tripod, and which I did, and then I started shooting, and then I started doing my clip and grow thing, and we can see I didn't get too far in it before I noticed I wasn't rolling anymore. Evidently, I had bumped this off whenever I snatched it out of the tripod. So instead of having the camera mounted static and just kind of seeing arms kind of come in and hardly ever focus in on anything in particular while I do a little wire and prune back, I'm going to keep my word on what I said I was going to do earlier, and we're going to do the secondary and the tertiary more clip and grow until I come across something where I go, I absolutely want to keep that branch and I absolutely don't want it in that direction. And if I feel that way about something, I'll change my mind about on a branch by branch basis, I guess. But anyway, what we did a couple of weeks ago was prune back some of this stuff, and we got some fantastic choices because of it. That's what I was just saying a few minutes ago before I was rudely interrupted by me, was that that for our little bit of prune back that we did just a couple of weeks ago, this tree has so responded. And so what I'm doing now is I'm going to go back and chop some of these back where I see them starting to elongate again. You'll get a node or two of growth, and then the distance between the nodes just starts to stretch out longer and longer and longer. And I'm letting this one go a little longer than I'll let the other one because I don't want them to be uniform. I'll get more back buds on that one for having done that. Now we're going to move up here and do the same. This starts to stretch out a little before there, but at this point, you can really see that stuff stretching up. But look at all the choices. Man, this stuff is just, it's just branching out everywhere. That guy's going straight up, but you know what? I can do a major more cut later. Let's see how I like it when it grows out a little. And then we'll cut that back too. I didn't cut any of those branches. I didn't eliminate any of them. I just, but I did trim every one of them's ends. Well, I did now. So that's kind of what is going on here. We got so many good choices out of all the, out of the cutback that we did just a few short weeks ago. And it does to me, it just makes perfect sense while the tree is doing all of this cell division. Let's try to keep it making things in the places where we would more likely want to keep them, and not just let it grow something longer and longer and longer. That had already started elongating out some, but let's see if I get a little back bud in motion for clipping that there. I don't know whether I will or not, but we can try that. Why not? Yeah. This feels really good. And when I get done with this, it'll probably look, unlike a lot of prunings, it'll probably look better. We're kind of at that stage in the game now where some of these clippings kind of are improving us a little. At least on this tree. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, that looks like a good spot for that guy. And I'm just basically going through here and looking at where these tips all start elongating out. And usually these little branches start doing like 2 or 3. And then the space between the internodes starts to just lengthen right on out. It just stretches right on out there. And that's usually about the time where I can say, and by cutting that, not only do I not have that long stretchy piece, but it's gonna back bud now. And it'll do that, I think as long as I'm feeding it and watering it, it'll probably do that until summer proper. If we had less branches, I would probably be wiring some of this straight up stuff down, but I don't think, I think that we have just got, I think this little bit of prune back is going to create even more. It's going to create even more ramification, and this is going to be good, yo. All right, now, where did you come from? Right there. There's 4 of those coming out of one spot. I wonder if these guys take from cuttings. I don't. They kind of act like they would. I don't think of oaks typically as the type of tree that comes from cuttings, but in a lot of ways, this guy kind of reminds me a little of an olive in the way that it's something about its older bark and something about the first time I saw this tree, it wasn't getting watered regularly, and have been told that if you want to get the leaves small, you can hold back on everything, cut back on everything, and the leaves will get tiny. They looked like olive leaves. They looked like they were tiny pill-shaped leaves, and I actually would say they looked quite a bit, they looked quite a bit like olive leaves. And as soon as I started watering the tree, I didn't start feeding it until this year regularly. But as soon as I started watering the tree, it did another flush of leaves, and the next round of leaves were humongo. These are actually not as bad as the ones I saw earlier. But while, this is a good example of what I'm talking about. We have good bud choices from here to here, and here to here it just gets ridiculous, and from here to here even more so. So we'll just kind of, we'll stop that there. Now, do you see what direction that leaf is? There's a bud site there. So by cutting that off, that's highly likely where our bud will come from. We'll get a bud going that way. If we wanted a bud going this way or that way, we would have picked a leaf that had one that way and chopped it there instead. what that was not a lot of preference one way or another. I kind of just gave that the axe where I did for that reason. And that'll probably, for that same rule of thumb, that'll go up. That will go in, whether I want it to or not, I guess. That's coming straight up, and I've already got some other really good choices, so boom. We'll just clip that out of our way. Now, also, that will probably bifurcate off into quite a few choices. We're going to cut this one back to here. We will cut this one. Okay. Can you see what I have here? This is really coming around. This is really coming around to our way. Look at that. I mean, that didn't even exist last year. So cool. All right, so again, you can see the distance between the two nodes. It's stretching out. It's like what Motorhead Pat would think of it in terms of shifting into third gear. That growing trend is starting to wind right out. And for bonsai, we want to keep all that stuff back tight. So whenever it starts to wind out the third gear like that, that's about the time I cut it back. Nope. Nope. Where are you coming from? Nope. And there's hope and nope. Wow. That looked a little long, but I've got a branch coming out there, one coming out there, one coming out there, just from that one little cut. That's so cool. I don't know what to do about this dead zone here, but maybe I'm just not going to worry about it and let it take care of itself. I'll just keep doing. We've already gotten so much good back budding from this tree, so much more over what I was looking at last year. Some of these branches last year only had a few little leaves on the end, and I'm like, I don't like that stuff being that far out, but if I cut that off, there won't be anything. I think I was right to worry. Yeah, I think if I'd have cut a lot of that stuff off, we probably would not have been able to keep it. You see how that just cleaned up all that congested area? That can go. Where did you come from? Right there? Okay, we'll do that. What is this? Okay, that's fine. That's not. Okay. Now, this guy's coming back on itself, but I'm not going to cut it off. I'm just going to trim it and let it do more things. Let's see. So sometimes you think you're doing it like you want to do it, but you still really can't see it. That's a good indication that you got more of it to do. Like, only now am I kind of starting. I've been cutting in here for a couple of minutes, and the main thing is just take it by branch and think about what you're doing. Maybe, as she says, thinks about what she's doing. That opened that up, and I had allowed that to go for dieback, but I've got a bud right here that's already blooming, so that is okay. This is kind of still hard to see, but I bet I've got a lot of stuff in there that I'm really gonna like once I can see what's going on. I'm not gonna go too crazy about diving in there and cutting stuff up just to see what, you know, a lot of times you can't see, so you cut it back and then you're like, oh yeah, no, that's good. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see if I rotate this on around into the light. Can I see that better? Oh yeah, that's, we're gonna leave that as that is. Look at that, look at that. Let's take, I'm gonna cut this back right. Boom. And then we're going to take that back. Boom. This tree is starting to get a little, I'm starting to see a little bit of a shape to it. And when there's a little bit of rhyme and reason to what you're doing, that starts to show in a way that's pretty pleasing. Cutting the top stuff, cutting the bottom stuff, or bending it. It will help us to get a look of pads, even though this isn't the kind of tree where we're normally going to be thinking about pads. But when you cut that stuff going straight up and then you give a clip back to the stuff going straight down or straight back into the tree, when you stand back and look, that is what's most pleasing. I mean, you could, even if you're the kind of person who breaks the rules all day long in other walks of life, just for when you go back and you do this the right way, and then you stand back and look, that does seem to be what is the most pleasing. You can just see in there, I'm still following the rule. I'm clipping this in, but right in here is where you can see those nodes begin to really elongate. So I clip that there, and it will divide off. You can kind of see this guy starting to elongate in here. We'll give that much, just a little more. You know, if you cut every branch in exactly the perfect spot, then they will start to look like they're all cut too even. So if you cut one this length, I try to cut the one next to it deliberately longer or shorter. But my tendency is I'll still have a desired length in mind, and it's whether or not, and I will cut the first one to the desired length, and I will then cut the second one to more or less the desired length, but still what I feel is in that ballpark. This is very pleasing to have a nice pair of well-made Japanese steel scissors, and they've got a really good edge to them. And we're at a stage where this tree is starting to give back for the effort. I still have trees where every time I prune them, they look a little runny for a minute, but I'm really enjoying this. It didn't have to be this nice for it still to be worthwhile, but I gotta say, I am enjoying this. Can you see? There you go, Pat. I missed that little branch I was trying to cut twice. All right. Today was a very, very productive day for Frida and I. We did laundry, a lot of it. When I the day I took ill, I was supposed to do laundry that day. So all this time I've been all this time I've been going, God, I hope I hurry up and get better. And then I'm like, well, you know, when you get better, you're just going to have to do laundry. I mean, it was kind of like a trade-off, you know? It's like, well, do I really want to, you know, if I come out the other side, I still have a mountain of laundry to do. There's not going to be any escaping that. So today was Mountain of Laundry Day, and we got through it. We did. I have clean socks and underwear for another week now. Yay. So, yeah. And that wouldn't be a big deal, except that it is now. They managed to do something to the laundry room next door that their automated system will not work with my phone. So I have to go over next to the pool. The building that's in with the pool building is the big laundromat. So, you know, load the wagon, go trudging across with your little wagon full of dirty clothes like the Beverly freaking Hillbillies to the, and that's how we kind of did our day. But I did all of it. I did all my laundry, and I did the sheets and the whole work. So, yeah. And I've got, let's see, let's sit back and have a look and see where let's sit back and have a look, see what else is too long. I mean, in a couple of weeks it's all gonna come out gangbusters again anyway. This guy is too long. Now, what is over here? That is all just a cluster of little buds. So we are going to leave them be. This is something coming out of the bottom, but I'm not going to cut it off. I'll just head it. I'll just deadhead it a little. And I don't know if that's the right term, because even though that is the term, we just get a burst of, all we get is a burst of buds. Every time we do that, more and more and more. That's awesome. This Cork Bark Oak, Macorcus. I don't know. That's going straight up. We'll do that. And then now it's not going straight up, or so straight up. And then that's coming straight out of the bottom. Where is that coming from? Yeah, you just thought look how big that got. I mean, that wasn't even supposed to be there. What the? Oh my God. That little branch found a hollow spot and ran along the hollow spot. And once I started pulling it out, it was pretty long. That was kind of pretty tricky. Could maybe take that down. All right. There's a few more. There's a few more on here I could mess with. What I just do with my printers. There they are. There's a few more over here I could mess with, and I will. Let's got that. Let's take that guy down right there. See, these little things are just, every one of those little twigs is just about to do the same thing. It'll just split right off. Boom. All right. That is a little bit of spring cutback on my Cork Bark Oak. We just did this probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we got so much ramification from it, and our little ramification choices started just taking off every which way. So we're coming back in and doing it again, and I'm kind of halfway expecting more of the same. I guess I wouldn't be, totally crushed if it didn't. But this is an evergreen, so what it's doing right now, it's doing a little faster in spring. It doesn't slow down that much. Later on in the year, it will rotate flushes of leaves out just all the time. That's just kind of, in the time that I've had it, that's just kind of what it's been doing. They can go, Cork Bark Oaks can go a fairly long time without water. I don't usually see them wilt. It will start shedding leaves when it's gotten dry enough. And then it will start shedding branches. Whenever I got this tree, it was suffering from a little bit of dieback. I think that the bonsai nursery. Oh, Pat, I keep hitting a dull spot on those shears. I think the bonsai nursery. It was just whenever COVID had first hit, and I caught them right when they were opening, even temporarily, and it looked to me like they were looking at the trees that they knew would be in the most trouble, and they were probably dedicating their time to their maples and stuff, because it looked to me like maybe this guy had been on the back burner. It's like, well, whatever happens, the crocus will probably hang out. If you're going to spend an hour somewhere, make sure you get all the maples watered, kind of a thing. So whenever I saw this, it had already dropped a few branches that I could see, and by the time I got it home, I could see that it had dropped more branches than I had realized when I had initially looked at it. So now I think if you look up, you can see where I set motion in some of those limbs and some of the foundation, and now we're starting to get our branches coming off that, and that is also pretty rewarding to see. So, all right, here is just some of the carnage at our feet. We could make wreaths with that. Yeah, I could dress this up in a little cork bark wreath. That looks like it's so long. Why did you leave that long, Patricia? Just take it down. Take it down to there. All right, I think that's about all I'm going to do with this. That is about it. Our next drop is going to be our Friday drop, and I suppose on the Friday drop I'll probably take the other thing down off the bench that I have been that I've been complaining about getting long and shaggy, and that's the Trident maple. It's just got shoots all over it that are really, really long, and they're starting to flag off what little bit of a canopy we have. So it's actually probably, yeah, I need to trim that back. So the next time you see something on this bench, it'll probably be our Trident maple, and you'll see a canopy like 6 or 7 inches above the apex of the tree, and then you'll see like a foot above that all of these just really obnoxious shoots. So I'm gonna just go through there really quick with the scissors and start trimming all those guys back below the canopy line so that that canopy can get some light, or below that canopy can maybe even get some light, and that thing can stop hogging my bench. So that's it. This cork bark looks quite a bit fuller. I guess we could do some sort of rotate here. Yeah, we're going to do the rotate. You can see all those features on our tree, right here on our tree. It's a lot fuller than we started off with this spring, this winter, I should say. And go baby go. It's just going great guns. And I would say the results of that are two things. One, I put it on a feeding regimen because we wanted branches and all that stuff. We wanted to grow stuff, and we wanted to make choices and branches and fill out. And so it's doing that. And I learned about cutting the tips so that it will release a hormone that it builds up. The hormone auxin will build up in the tips of the dominant, of the apex highest branches, and that will send a signal that that is where the future of the tree lies, and everything around that kind of does better than the rest of the tree. So when you clip those ends, it kind of like loses a leader, so then everything else starts vying for the job, and you get back buds all over the place. And that's what we did a couple of weeks ago when those limbs were all beginning to get a little long looking, and the results of that are to be seen. We have all of this stuff, just all of this stuff just bursting right out, which is just what we want. I keep seeing more of it than I missed earlier. I'll leave it on the bench. I'll leave it on the bench tonight for a bit. Maybe bring it back out in the morning. Yeah, I won't go tripping on the, will you cut? Thank you. I won't go tripping on the bench tonight. Okay. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Tomorrow, I return to work. I think I probably have I have some stuff coming in for a project I ordered from the store for a upcoming cutting project that we are about to get started on. Probably, I don't want to give anything away. I'm just going to see if my stuff came in like I want it to first. But yeah, we're not too far away from doing our cutting project. Our Friday show will, like I said, will probably be a little about the maples, and maybe I'll show off some of our ingredients that we're getting going, and lay out some ideas of what we hope to achieve for that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.